Look, I need to be real with you. You are not ready for the next phase. Most aren't. The game is changing fast. Everything that worked 6 months ago, it's barely working now. Your ad costs are higher, your conversion rates are lower, and you cannot figure out why. But you don't have to get left behind. You can see what's coming. You can adjust now, and you can actually grow, while your competitors keep on doing the same old thing and watch their profit margins disappear. Now, why should you listen to me? I have been in the e-commerce trenches for 25 years, done over $1 billion in incremental revenue, and I take in tons of data every single day. I've been watching these shifts happen live. I'm seeing what's actually working right now. So in this video, I'm breaking it down. The 6 biggest challenges coming to e-commerce, so you can adapt before it's too late. Change number 1, the great consolidation. And this really is the mega trend, because if you miss this one, nothing else I tell you today will matter. Here's what's happening. The gold rush is officially over. The easy money days of e-commerce, gone. If you were given a choice, every e-commerce founder on earth would go back in time to 2015 when Facebook ads cost pennies, when you could 10x with zero strategy, when a Shopify store and a decent product was enough. Those days, my friends, are dead, and they're not coming back. Let me hit you with the numbers. General businesses fail at 20% in their first year. That's the baseline. What about e-commerce? 70% fail in year 1, more than triple. But here's the stat that should keep you up at night. 90% fail within the first 120 days. 4 months and it's over. Now here's what nobody tells you. The market isn't shrinking, it's exploding. Global e-commerce hit $6.86 trillion in 2025, up 8% from last year. But the pie is massive. Here's the problem. Over 100,000 D2C stores in the US alone that are active, all running the same playbook, all fighting for the same eyeballs, all doing exactly what you're doing. So what's actually killing these brands? Something I call the year 3 wall. Let me break down exactly how it happens. Stage 1, you get traction. Small audience, early sales, things feel good. Stage 2, now you get cocky. Pour money into ads, triple your inventory, start hiring. Stage 3, you hit the wall hard. CAC, your CAC spikes, retention is garbage, cash flow disappears, and suddenly you're 3 months away from bankruptcy. I've seen this very pattern destroy hundreds of brands. It's like building a house on sand. Looks great until the first storm hits. Ever feel like you're on a hamster wheel, spending more just to stay in place? That's the wall approaching. And here's why it's getting worse. Since iOS 14, ad costs have risen 10 to 32% every single year, compounding. D2C funding dropped 90% since 2022. The investors aren't coming to save you. The safety net is gone. So here's a cheat code for surviving the consolidation. The brands that make it through, they focus on 3 things: profitability over growth, retention over acquisition, and what I call clean signals over vanity metrics. More on clean signals later. It's going to change everything. Now here's why this next shift is going to matter more. Because the consolidation I just described, it's being accelerated by a crisis most brands don't even understand. The second shift is what I call the CAC death spiral, customer acquisition cost. And if you don't understand this, you'll keep burning cash until nothing is left. Here is the brutal math. CAC has increased 60% in just 5 years. Let me ask you something. Are you spending more and more to get customers who buy once and never come back? Because I have a name for that. I call it the money bonfire strategy. You're literally setting your cash on fire. Now here's where it gets interesting. Harvard Business Review found something wild. Acquiring a new customer costs 5 to 25 times more than keeping the one you already have. You could spend big money to get a new customer or a fraction to keep the one that you already have that loves you. Bain & Company took it even one step further. A 5% increase in retention can boost profits 25 to 95%. This is the most asymmetric opportunity in e-commerce, and almost nobody is taking it. And why is everyone obsessed with acquisition? I'll tell you why. Acquisition feels like growth. Retention, on the other hand, feels like maintenance. But that's backwards. Acquisition without retention is a leaky bucket. I call those customers one-hit wonders. One transaction and they're gone forever. And here's the scary part. If you run a report right now in Shopify, customers who bought exactly once and never came back, that number is probably 70 to 80% of your customers. You don't have customers. You have transactions. Here's what repeat customers actually do. They spend 67% more. They convert at 60 to 70% versus 5 to 20% for new prospects. They are 50% more likely to try new products. And they tell their friends, free marketing. That's the metric you need to obsess over. I call it the profitability ratio. LTV divided by CAC, lifetime value over acquisition cost. The magic number is 3 to 1. For every dollar you spend to acquire, you get $3 back over their lifetime. And at 1 to 1, you're losing money on every customer. And 2 to 1, you're barely surviving. At 3 to 1 or higher, now you have a real business. Let me tell you about Oram Brothers. This story changed how I think about everything. They sell men's luxury bracelet. They were stuck at $1.5 million for 3 years. 3 years of grinding, going nowhere. The founders told me they laid awake every single night, wondering if they would be able to make the next payroll, maxing out credit cards, taking business loans just to keep the lights on. 3 months away from bankruptcy. Here's what was actually happening. They were pouring money into meta ads, getting customers who only bought once and vanished. Their profitability ratio was underwater. We flipped their entire strategy, built what I call the retention engine. Email flows that actually convert, a post-purchase experience that creates superfans, customer service that builds true relationships, not just transactions. Within the first 6 weeks, 112% revenue increase, while raising prices 22%. They doubled to $3 million in 1 year. Now they're targeting $10 million. Same products, same market, different strategy. Here's the cheat code for escaping the CAC death spiral. Stop trying to fill a leaky bucket. Fix the holes first. Build your retention engine before you scale acquisition. The era of growth at all cost is dead. Retention is the new acquisition. And I've got the receipts to prove it. Now here's why everything I just said is about to get 10 times harder because of this next shift. The third shift is what I call the signal loss apocalypse. And most brands don't even know it's happening until their ads stop working. And they have no idea why. Let me explain what's going on. Remember the good old days when you could track everything? Someone clicked your ad, browsed your site, added to cart, bought the product. You knew exactly which campaign worked, exactly which creative converted, exactly where to spend more. Those days, my friends, are gone. The entire tracking infrastructure is crumbling. And here's why this matters so much. Apple dropped a bomb called the app tracking transparency. They require apps to ask permission for tracking you. Guess how many people actually say yes? 25 to 30%. 70 to 75% of your tracking? Blind. You're flying a plane with no instruments. Meta said that this change cost them $10 billion in 1 single year. If it hurt Meta that badly, with all their engineers, all their resources, all their data scientists, imagine what it's doing to you. And it gets worse. Google is killing third-party cookies. Google Chrome has 65% of market share. When those cookies die, your tracking dies with them. 80% of marketers surveyed expect serious challenges to targeting and measurement. They see what's coming. Do you? Here's what this means for your business. Your retargeting pools are shrinking. Your lookalike audiences are degrading. Your attribution is basically fiction. The old measurement models, completely broken. Multi-touch attribution used to be the golden standard. Now it's like navigating with half the map burnt, making decisions on incomplete data, which leads to expensive mistakes. So what's the solution? This is where clean signals come in. The concept that's going to separate winners from losers. Let me break it down. There are two types of data: dirty signals and clean signals. Dirty signals are vanity metrics. They make you feel good, but they never pay the bills. Impressions, reach, website traffic, social media likes, follower counts, all dirty. Clean signals, on the other hand, directly impact profitability. Contribution margin per order, conversion rate by source, 60-day repurchase rate, customer lifetime value, net profit. These are clean signals. The cheat code for surviving signal loss: first-party data. Data your customers give you directly. Email addresses, phone numbers, purchase history, survey responses, loyalty program data. This data is gold. It's accurate. It's reliable. And most importantly, you own it. No algorithm changes, no privacy updates, no platform can take it away. Stop relying on Facebook's broken pixel. Build your own data moat. The brands that master first-party data, they'll dominate the next decade. The ones still relying on third-party tracking, they're already failing, and they just don't know it yet. Now here's something that might surprise you, because the next shift is not about adding more. It's about doing less. The fourth shift is the focus paradox, and it goes against everything you have been told. Here's the counterintuitive truth. More options kills sales. Let me prove it to you. There is a famous study. Two psychologists set up a jam tasting booth. Some days they offered 24 jams. Other days, just 6. Here's what happened. The big display with 24 jams attracted more people. 60% of shoppers stopped to look, but only 3% bought. And the small display with just 6 jams, 40% stopped to look, but 30% bought. Let me say that again. Fewer options, 10 times more sales. This is called choice overload. Too many options create decision fatigue, anxiety, and ultimately no purchase at all. Now let me show you how the biggest companies in the world use this. When Steve Jobs returned back to Apple in 1997, the company was dying. They had 350 different products, trying to be everything to everyone, failing at everything. Jobs did something radical. He cut the product line from 350 products down to just 4, a 97% reduction. One product for each quadrant. Consumer desktop, consumer portable, pro desktop, pro portable. 4 products. And what happened? Apple went from near bankruptcy to the most valuable company in the world. Jobs said it best. Deciding what not to do is as important as deciding what to do. P&G, Procter & Gamble, did the same thing. In 2014, they cut 100 brands. Those brands generated revenue, but only 5% of profit. They were a massive drain on resources. What happened after the cut? P&G's market cap more than doubled, from $150 billion to $350 billion. By doing less, they achieved more. Here, what this means for you. Please stop trying to sell everything. Identify your hero products. The one thing you do better than anyone else. Pull all of your resources to making that exceptional. The cheat code for the focus paradox: radical simplification. Cut your SKU count ruthlessly. Simplify your website. Focus your marketing on one core offer. In a world of infinite choices, simplicity is your competitive advantage. The brands trying to be everything, they're drowning. The brands with ruthless focus, they're winning. And here's why focus alone isn't enough. Even with the perfect product, you can still lose everything at one critical moment. The fifth shift is the conversion crisis, and it's the most overlooked problem in e-commerce. Here's what's happening. Brands are obsessed with traffic, spending fortunes to drive people to their websites, but completely ignoring what happens when they arrive. It's like pouring water into a leaky bucket. You're wasting most of what you're paying for. Here's a stat that should make you super angry. Baymard Institute studied e-commerce checkouts. They found something shocking. The average e-commerce site can gain a 35% increase in conversion rate just through better checkout design. 35%. That's not a small optimization. That's transformational. And here's the dollar amount. $260 billion in lost orders. They considered it recoverable. 260 billion just sitting on the table because checkout processes are overly complicated. Let me explain why this matters so much. The math is simple. If you double your conversion rate, you cut your customer acquisition cost in half without spending a single extra dollar on ads. Same traffic, half the cost per customer. So what's going wrong? Most brands obsess over driving traffic. High exit rates on product pages? Ignored. Convoluted checkout processes? Ignored. The average checkout has nearly double the number of form fields. Every extra field is a friction. Every extra step is an exit. Every moment of confusion is a lost sale. Here's a story from Lion's Leather. Lisa runs a handcrafted leather goods brand. She was spending heavily on ads, getting traffic, but conversions were terrible. We didn't touch her ad spend. We fixed her product pages, simplified her checkout, clarified her value proposition. Result? 1,400% in the first 6 weeks. Not from more traffic, from converting the traffic she already had. Here's the cheat code for the conversion crisis. Before you spend another dollar on ads, fix your funnel, simplify your checkout. Every click should have a purpose. Every page should move them closer to a purchase. Remove everything that does not serve conversion. The brands obsessing over traffic, they're bleeding money. The brands obsessing over conversion, they're printing it. Now here's the final shift, and it ties everything together. The sixth and the final shift is the owned channel advantage. And if you ignore this, you're building your business on a rented land. Here's the reality. Most brands are completely dependent on paid media. Meta ads, Google ads, platforms they don't control, algorithms that change without warning, costs that keep climbing. That's not a business. That's a hostage situation. The solution? Owned channels. Email, SMS, your website, your customer list. No algorithm can take these away. No privacy updates can shut them off. No platform policy can destroy your business overnight. Here's the data. Email marketing generates $36 to $40 for every dollar spent. 36 to 40x return. Compare that to your paid ads. What's your ROAS? 2 to 3x? 3x if you're lucky. Email crushes it. And SMS is even more powerful for urgency. But here's what most brands get wrong. They treat email like a megaphone. Blast the same message to everyone. That's not strategy. That's spam. The brands winning with own channels, they do it differently. Segmentation, personalization, automated flows, welcome series, abandoned cart sequences, post-purchase follow-ups, win-back campaigns. The retention engine I mentioned earlier, email and SMS are the foundation. Globetrotter is a perfect example. They sell luxury luggage. Minimum price point, $1,700. They focused on their owned channel first, optimize their email flows, build a post-purchase experience that creates superfans, not just customers. Result, 333% sales increase in the first 6 weeks from owned channels, not paid media addiction. Here's the other critical piece. Master one channel before adding the next one. Don't spread yourself too thin across Meta, Google, TikTok, or Pinterest all at once. That's a recipe for mediocre results everywhere. Pick your primary channel, the one closest to your ideal customer. Dominate it. Make it profitable. Build repeatable systems. Then expand from a position of strength, not desperation. Here's the cheat code for owned channels. Build your email and SMS list like your business depends on it. Because it does. Create automated flows that work while you sleep. Treat every subscriber like gold. Because in a world of signal loss, your first-party data is your moat. The brands dependent on paid media, they're one algorithm change from disaster. The brands with strong owned channels, they control their destiny. Now, everything that I shared with you, the great consolidation, the CAC, debt spiral, the signal loss apocalypse, the focus paradox, the conversion crisis, the own channel advantage, these aren't random observations. They're all part of a system. I call it the Rapid 2X protocol, a complete framework for scaling e-commerce profitably. In a world where most brands are failing, we only run a handful of cohorts every year. The next one starts soon, and spots are already filling up. If you're serious about this, if you are ready to stop guessing and start growing with a proven system, go to the link in the description. Apply to see if you're a fit. We do reject more brands than we accept. We only work with action-oriented entrepreneurs who are ready to roll up their sleeves and ready to do the work. But if you qualify, this could change everything. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. Some brands are crushing it right now. One of those brands, I break it down in this video. So if you want to learn the exact strategies, the techniques that the biggest brands are using, so you can use them yourself, I'll see you over there.